Yesterday, the opposition is saying that this is proof that there is no longer any separation of powers between the executive and the judiciary. The BJP has hit back, saying that the real angst for the opposition is that the CJI and the Prime Minister both are seen doing a Hindu puja, and this reflects the anti-Hindu mindset of the opposition. The question is, has this veneer, this separation of powers, or the veneer of the separation of powers between the executive and the judiciary, just because the Prime Minister went there, spent, we don't know, half an hour doing a puja there, has that separation of powers come off? Or is the opposition taking this attack, this line? Some folks in the opposition are even saying that this is evidence of quid pro quo. Now the question is, this is a social function. Yes, it's a religious function, but it is also a social function. There are other invitees too. It's not just the Prime Minister who landed up at the CJI's residence. There are other judges, other guests who attended what was a religious social function. Now, the question is it a crime for the Prime Minister to attend a religio-social function at the house of the Chief Justice? And how does that automatically translate from there to it becoming some kind of a quid pro quo and the falling of the curtains that separate executive and judiciary? But first, the story.
हमारी जो केस है महाराष्ट्र में, जो घटना बाह्य सरकार चल रही है और उसकी सुनवाई चंद्रचूड़ साहब के सामने चल रही है, तो हमें शंका है कि हमें न्याय मिलेगा.
A judge should ensure that he is impartial. He will not take any sides. That is why everybody is condemning Modi's visiting Puja in the judge's house.
That in 2009, when Mr. Balakrishnan was the Chief Justice of India, and at the time, the incumbent Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh hosted an iftar party at his residence, which was attended by the Chief Justice of India. One can ask a question then also.
और वहां अमेरिका जाके इल्हान उमर से मिलते हैं, उस पे आपत्ति नहीं है.
If executive and the judiciary both comes together to celebrate puja, whether Ganpati Puja or some other puja, I think it is a step we should welcome.
All right, now the BJP has been quick to point out that this is not the first instance. Back in 2009, when Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was in office, he hosted an iftar party where he, at that time, invited the then Chief Justice of India, KG Balakrishnan, as one of the guests. In fact, you can see the picture on the right-hand side of your screen. So, if it's okay for Congress Prime Minister, UPA Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh to host an iftar party and invite the then Chief Justice of India to that iftar party, then what is wrong with what Prime Minister Modi has done by attending this puja at the current Chief Justice's residence, D.Y. Chandrachud? Joining us now, Radhika Khera, spokesperson of the BJP, Sajjad Supariwala is spokesperson of the Shiv Sena UBT, Ashwini Dubey, advocate at the Supreme Court, and Bishwajit Bhattacharya, senior advocate and former additional Solicitor General. Let me start with Sajjad Supariwala, because the opposition, and your party too, has taken grave offence to this. Can I just lay that out front? I mean, how has the separation of executive and judicial powers just collapsed just because the Prime Minister attended a 20-minute or half an hour puja at the residence of the CJI? Please explain to our viewers.
The question is to me?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Supariwala, that question is to you.
See, we are not having any problem with anybody doing puja at anybody's house, but the timing of the puja, you can just understand. When the constitutional efforts are being put up by the Supreme Court and their justice has been always delayed, the Maharashtra decision was to be taken, and at the same time, the Honorable Prime Minister goes to the Chief Justice house to do the Ganpati Puja. Do you think it is It is not unconstitutional. Do you think it is constitutional?
Sir,
Don't you
Ganpati
think
Puja
it's the
can happen
timing
only
is-
during 10 days of Ganpati. No, it can't happen. I mean, how can you
But
question the
but-
timing?
but the Prime
now is
Minister-
the 10
but the
days
Prime-
of Ganpati Puja, so that's
But
when Ganpati Puja happens.
But the Honorable Prime Minister could have gone to so many places of other people also, the party workers, the other people who are celebrating the Ganpati festival
No,
and the
that he
puja
could
is being
have.
done.
But the
why
CJI,
did he choose-
CJI,
why
I
did he
presume,
choose the
invited
CJI's
invited the Prime
Why
Minister.
did he choose the CJI's invitation only, and why did he perform the puja at his house only? The timing is, there are two pillars of the constitution. One is the democratic.
What exactly
and
is
one
the problem with that is what I'm trying to understand. CJI invited
problem
him,
is-
Prime Minister accepted the invitation, went there, performed puja. What's the
But
problem?
do you think a PM and the PM going to see Chief Justice house? There are two different entities of justice. Do you think that they should be merged together and puja
So
should
can
be
I ask you a
performed?
question? Can I ask you a question? If
Yeah, please go ahead.
if this inviting Prime Minister for his son's or daughter's wedding and the Prime Minister went for the wedding, then also this would be a problem? Separation of executive and judiciary?
See, wedding is a very this has been shown in the media so many times that he has performed a puja
Okay.
at the CJ's house. There are in the wedding there will be thousands and lakhs of people will be invited from different walks of the society, and this is personal invitation of the CJI where Modi ji has attended.
No,
So
no,
we
there were
are
other
only
guests also.
saying-
There were other Supreme Court judges,
This
there
is-
were other guests also. It
This
was
is-
not just he,
but
it was
there
not
were
just the PM.
There were not other political faces there. Only Honorable PM Modi ji was there. If you can
Okay.
just tell me who else was
So,
there.
so Mr.
then I would be able
Supariwala,
to
you
say.
have said it clearly on the
This is-
show
this
just
was a-
now
this-
that your
this was a-
problem, your
this was a-
problem was
this was a-
was
this
not
was a
was
visit
not
as
the
a
fact that he
house.
went,
This
but the
was
fact
a
that he
very
performed the puja.
personalized visit. This is
Because
not
when
a
I asked
function
you if
of
it
the
was the
wedding.
wedding of the son or daughter of
This
the
is not the
CJI and if the
wedding,
PM
right?
went, that is okay with you.
Is this a wedding? No. This is a personal
No, no, so that's what I'm saying.
invitation
If it was
at
a wedding,
personal
then
puja.
it was okay. You would not
No,
have a
but
problem.
how could it
But-
be okay?
But
It is not
you
okay.
just
The
said
timing is what I
You
tried
just
to
said
tell
no,
you is
sir.
The timing is totally wrong.
when I
It
asked
is
you if it was
there
the
is a case
wedding of the
pending.
CJI's son or daughter and Prime Minister showed up as an
There-
invited
there
guest,
is a case
that's
pending
okay.
for the
That's
personal
not a
life of
problem. But
everybody
because
has
this is
the
a
right.
puja, that's a problem. You said
Everybody
it
has
just
the
now.
right,
You just said
but
it.
Why not somebody else? Why only the Chief Justice of India? Why Honorable PM had to just go to the? He is the PM
Wha-
of India. He's not the PM of
Why?
only BJP
Why?
or any
Why
one
not?
party.
Why not? What's the crime there? What's the
Why
illegality
not
there?
means what? Do you think it is constitutional? Do you think it is okay to
it's
do that?
unconstitutional. Okay,
but do
I
you
believe
think it is
Radhika
okay?
Khera of the BJP will be joining us as well. Radhika Khera.
Do you think it is okay?
Unconstitutional
Do that.
collapse of the separation of powers between executive and judiciary. Many other people would have called the Prime Minister for Ganpati Puja. He didn't show up anywhere there. He only went to the CJI's house. Please respond. And as far as we can see from the video, we don't know who else was there, but certainly there were other invited guests. We can see that in the video. But no other politicians is the claim by Sajjad Supariwala. Please respond.
I hope this picture is visible. Can
Yeah, we
everybody see
showed this
picture?
before you joined us as well. Yeah.
So, what was this? This was constitutional. The entire problem here is not about being constitutional or anything else. The entire problem is that you have the Prime Minister of the country and the CGI who are openly practicing their religion. They are Hindus, they're practicing Hindus, and they're doing a Ganpati Aarti. Till the
Are there
time,
not
it was
other
just
Hindus?
limited.
Are
Till
there
the
not
time
other
that-
Hindus who have invited?
Mr.
Let me
Supariwala,
just-
one second,
Let me just
please. One
complete.
at
I
a
don't
time. One at a
believe in
time.
speaking over someone.
Yeah, one at a time.
Till the time CGI was attending an iftar party, everything was hunky-dory. There were no problems, there were no constitutional issues.
Okay.
These pictures are there are many pictures like this. This is not the only picture. Since time immemorial, people, CGIs and everyone has attended iftar parties of the Congress leadership, of the Congress prime ministers. But till then, everything was fine. The minute Hindu practices this religion and Ganpati is for everyone. Do they even know the history of why Ganpati is celebrated? Do you remember what role it played in our freedom movement? And then you have a problem with that. The problem I'm telling you is just because they are Hindus. No other problem. That is why the India Alliance has an issue and they're coming up with reasons. If this was an iftar party,
one second.
you would have not
Radhika,
heard one
let's
word.
separate two issues. Prime Minister has gone in the past when ministers have, for example, kept Ganpati in their house. I remember to Piyush Goyal's house, he had gone for Ganpati Puja one of these previous years. Nobody had a problem with that. The problem is not the Prime Minister performing the puja. The problem is, as the opposition says, him being seen at the CJI's house.
So CGI can be seen at the Prime Minister's house?
If he's
That's
called
what
for
I'm
a
saying.
social
CGI
function, yes.
CGI can go to the Prime Minister's house for an iftar, but the Prime Minister can not go to the CGI's house for Ganpati. That is the problem. If this was a iftar party, there would be no problem. The problem is that they are both practicing Hindus, and the India Alliance has a problem because Hindus are not their vote bank. They want everything related to their vote bank. There was no problem. Why did they not question this? This is not the first time something like this has happened. Why can the Prime Minister not go anywhere that he's invited? What is the problem? I don't see a problem in that thing.
Mr. Supariwala. So Prime Minister can call the sitting CJI back in 2009 for iftar party, but Prime Minister in 2024 can't go to the CJI's house for Ganpati Puja.
Look at the timing. The judgment will be affected. Now, why is the Honorable Prime Minister? You know the
How will the judgment be affected? Are you casting aspersions on the Chief Justice?
No, but people
are you casting doubts on the Supreme Court of India?
We are asking questions.
No, you just said the judgment will be affected. What does that mean?
To ask a question. Do we have the right to ask a question?
Please ask a question. Please ask a question.
I'm just asking a question that don't you think the timing is right or wrong? I'm just asking a question whether the timing is right or wrong.
I said the answer to that. Ganpati Puja can happen only during Ganpati. The 10 days of Ganpati is now. So I don't think the timing question is valid.
There are two pillars of the justice to be done. There are two pillars. One is from the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of India. One is our Honorable Prime Minister of India. They should be knowing that this responsibility of the Prime Minister of India is for our full. He's the PM of the India. He's not the PM of only BJP.
I want to give you one more chance. You said the judgment will be affected. What do you mean?
We are worried about that.
Worried about what?
I'm not saying that.
No, worried about what?
You are not understanding.
What are you worried about?
Why did the Prime Minister choose just to go to the Chief Justice's house and not any other party
as
worker
a consequence,
or
what are you worried about? As a fallout, what are you worried about?
Why? I'm putting this as a question, not an answer. I'm not giving my statement. I'm asking you the question.
No. I'm the anchor. My job is to ask the question. You are the political party representative. You are supposed to give the answers. So please, once again, I'm asking you, last 30 seconds before I move on to the other two guests. You said the judgment will be affected. What do you mean by that?
Worried about it.
What are you worried about? What are you worried about the judgment being affected? Please elaborate.
It has already been, already the Maharashtra decision has been prolonging. Again, the Maharashtra, the date was there on the same day. The PM visited the house of the Chief Justice of India for the puja.
That is the nub of the problem. That is the nub of the problem, that Mr. Supariwala, his party, other opposition parties are now going to question Mr. Bikash Bhattacharya. Let me please bring in Mr. Bhattacharya, former ASG. Now, between now and his retirement, which is sometime in November, every judgment that the CJI-led bench will pronounce will be viewed from this political prism that Mr. Sajjad Supariwala has just said on this show, that they will now question the Maharashtra judgment if the Maharashtra judgment does not go in their favor. They will question any other judgment if it does not go in their favor. Every judgment that the CJI delivers between now and November when he retires will be seen from a partisan political lens and not for the merit of that judgment. This is the problem. Mr. Bhattacharya.
Yes. Oh, you're asking me?
Yes.
my comments?
Yes.
Okay. You see, there is nothing wrong in the Honorable Prime Minister going anywhere. He is, after all, a politician and the executive head of the country. I mean, he may choose to attend any function. So that can't be faulted or questioned. My limited point is, it is up to the Honorable, the Chief Justice of India, being the guardian of India's judiciary. I think it was an error of judgment on his part to have allowed the situation to become what it is, since last night we have been hearing in the media, the social media, today it's a prime time in CNN news in the country, and every front page newspapers, millions of views. It could have been avoided.
No. So let's be clear. You are saying that the CJI should not have.
That is the problem.
You're saying the CJI should not have invited the Prime Minister. Is that what you're saying?
You invite somebody, speak one sentence, it creates a wrong impression, and then you suddenly interrupt. Permit me at least 1 minute.
Mr. Bhattacharya, I was asking for a clarification for what you just
I am
said.
giving clarification. I have made a very serious statement. It is an error of judgment on the part of the Honorable Chief Justice of India to have allowed the situation.
Not allowed. No. Was it an error of judgment on the CJI's part to have invited the Prime Minister?
You are not.
Let's be upfront about it, right?
You permit me, because I don't want to carry a wrong impression.
CJI did not allow the situation to flare up. Situation flared up as a consequence of what happened yesterday. Are you saying he made an error of judgment, Mr.
What
Bhattacharya?
I am saying, kindly,
let's be very, very clear and upfront to our viewers. Let's not beat around the bush. Was it wrong for the Chief Justice to have invited the Prime Minister? Please.
Kindly permit
yes
me
or
to
no?
speak. I mean, what is yes or no? Kindly permit. You have asked a question. You have invited me. I have made a statement. I mean, I am just explaining.
You are not saying it upfront, Mr. Bhattacharya.
Oh my God. I am not used to it.
No.
Permit me to speak.
I am asking you a very simple question. You said error of judgment. Did the Chief Justice make an error of judgment in inviting the Prime Minister? Question mark.
Error of judgment about the situation, because he has another 28 working days precisely to go. Now, all these kind of insinuations which are being made, to which I do not agree, perhaps he did not anticipate that this kind of insinuations will be made, which are entirely baseless. The insinuations about the Honorable Chief Justice of India judgment going one way or the other is entirely baseless.
If the insinuations are baseless, then what is the error of judgment?
Because the error of judgment is because insinuations are being made.
The insinuations are being made by somebody else. You're saying for somebody else's insinuations, how are you holding the Chief Justice accountable?
Zaka, you are also insinuating as the anchor.
No.
You are also insinuating
I
as
am not at all. In fact, it's quite to the opposite. I am not at all insinuating.
No, you are insinuating.
You are saying insinuations are being made, but the error of judgment is that of the Chief Justice.
Tell me why you are having a prime time shot 9 o'clock.
To ask you this precise question, when you said that the CJI made an error of judgment, did he make an error of judgment in inviting the Prime Minister? That's what led to the insinuations, right? Insinuations were not created by the CJI.
Because CJI perhaps could not have anticipated that these kind of insinuations will be made.
Okay, so he could not have anticipated that the insinuations will be made. Okay, one second, let me ask Mr. Dubey, please. Mr. Dubey. Again, I believe in an action and a fallout. Okay, one second. Mr. Bhattacharya, one second, your time is up. I'm going to the next guest. I believe that there is something called causality. Something has happened and it has led to something else happening. The CJI invited the Prime Minister. Now, you can argue, and I would be happy if Mr. Bishwajit Bhattacharya's argument was, yes, the CJI made an error of judgment in inviting the Prime Minister. Take that position and defend that position. But you can't say the error of judgment made by the CJI was because of the insinuations that other people have made because of this puja. I mean, he's not responsible for what other people are saying. He's responsible for what he has done. And what he has done was to invite the Prime Minister. So if you want to go ahead and make that as the charge, please go ahead and make that charge. I don't have a problem. But to say that he did X action, but Y was the result of it, the CJI is not responsible for X, but he's responsible for Y. Mr.
That is what, Jaka, the selective insinuations, the selective target. Can the Chief Justice of India be influenced so easily? Can by the one institutional head, the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister of this country, is visiting to the place of another institutional head to participate in a Ganpati Puja can be said to be the violative to the separation of powers? What is separation of power? Separation of power means the functions of one organ should not be performed by the other. Where this organ has been compromised, question number 1. Question number 2, Honorable CJI is an institution himself, being the custodian of constitution from his long tenure of 2 and more years. We have seen that he has dealt with number of landmark cases and he has delivered justice and number of occasions. His judgments have been applauded, appreciated, and all those people who has made it a fashion to attack the institutions of our country have said that the Nyay ki jeet hui. What is happening now? Honorable Prime Minister is visiting to perform in a puja and selectively people have washed away, have forgot that what Honorable CJI has done to this institution. Now, how does attending a Ganpati Puja Jaka by the Honorable Prime Minister to the house of Honorable CJI, that too when the cameraman, that too when the media is present there, in a public function can be said to be the compromise of separation of power? Can't the Honorable PM participate in a traditional the puja or Ganpati Puja which is scheduled on this day? Ganpati Puja cannot be performed on other day. Yeah. There is a tithi, there are nakshatra. So Honorable Prime Minister of India visited. Now my learned senior has just said 28 or so days. Can he refer a single judgment? Can he refer a single instance? He has been the additional solicitor.
I am agreeing with you. I am agreeing with you.
And can Mr. Bhattacharya Jaka, he is my senior. My senior cannot,
agreeing with you.
my right to speak, my freedom of speech on expression
Sir,
cannot.
please yield. Let him finish. Let him ask the question.
I am agreeing with
Sir,
Ashwini
please yield. Let him ask the question. Yes.
The head of the government, Jaka Bhai, and the head of judiciary can most certainly meet for a puja or for discussing anything for the larger interests of the country. It is not first occasion. When Honorable Justice Gogoi was Chief Justice, Honorable Prime Minister visited. Honorable Prime Minister visited Supreme Court and attended functions of the lawyers. Honorable Prime Minister visited Vigyan Bhavan, attended the functions of the lawyer. On many occasions, for the larger interest, to strengthen the constitution, to strengthen the values of these two institutions or organs of the constitution, they often meet. Where is the problem?
Okay, I am going to go ahead for some instances in the past where forget about attending a puja at each other's house or whatever other religio-social function that CJIs and one second, Radhika, that CJIs and Prime Ministers have attended. I am going to go one step further and give you instances, and Mr. Supariwala, please respond. These are instances where then Chief Justices have praised the Prime Minister of that time. 1953. Bombay High Court Chief Justice MC out of Nehru as his Prime Minister because Nehru has given the country international status. 1960, Madras High Court Justice Anant Narayanan in defamation case described Nehru as a greatly esteemed national leader. Madhya Pradesh High Court Chief Justice Hidayatullah and Justice G. Bhatt termed Nehru as the most beloved leader of the people. 1980, Justice P.N. Bhagwati wrote a congratulatory letter to Indira Gandhi for her election victory. All of this is not a problem, but Prime Minister Modi going to Chief Justice Chandrachud's house for a puja, that's a problem.
Our question is not about anything else, but the constitution.
No, what are you saying, Mr. Supariwala? I can't hear you.
Well, I'm just talking about the constitution being violated by the PM going to the Chief Justice house.
Can you tell me which article of the constitution, which section of the BNS has been violated by Prime Minister going to the CJI's house? Mr. Supariwala?
Or any functions. We are talking about the Ganpati Puja only on the day the constitution, the court decision was supposed to come. And now again what has happened is, the rest. You know the rest.
What is happening. What part of the constitution has been violated? Which article of the constitution has been violated?
I'm telling you, I'm coming to that only. I'm coming to that.
Okay. All right. We're losing his audio. We'll try and go to that in a second. Yes, Radhika, I've just listed the instances where Chief Justices at that time were praising eloquently and lavishly the Prime Ministers of that time. That's okay.
You know, I think I didn't know that the India Alliance people were so immature and so naive when it comes to something like this, and they actually think that the Prime Minister has to, if anyone has to do something or has to, make someone do something, you don't need to go to their house publicly for that. I mean, it's stupidity to think that the Prime Minister has to go to the Chief Justice's house and then things will change. It's not like that. And having said that, when the Prime Minister meets the Chief Justice of India, Congress and the India Alliance scream foul. And when Rahul Gandhi jets off to USA to cozy off to Ilhan Omar, who is a known sympathizer of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir and an anti-India mouthpiece, not a whisper of disapproval will come from anyone sitting over here. When he sneaks behind closed doors, meets the Chinese president, signs secret MOUs that sell out India's sovereignty, Congress conveniently will look the other way. When he shakes hands with George Soros, the global disruptor funding efforts to tear India apart, there's a deafening silence from all these so-called champions of secularism. But the moment a democratically elected leader of India
I think we need to be clear. I think we need to be clear about two issues. I don't think a politician and a chief justice can be held to the same standard. A chief justice, of course,
no, but when
the standards should be higher.
elected Prime Minister is meeting the Chief Justice,
in the case of Rahul Gandhi, in the case of bringing the Rahul Gandhi example, I don't think it's apples and apples. So let's leave that aside.
1 second.
No, it's not apples and apples. Sorry, Radhika, that's not a straight comparison.
Just a second.
That's a bad analogy.
When the Prime Minister is meeting the Chief Justice, Zaka, who is the Chief Justice? He's an Indian. He's not anti-India. He's the democratically elected Prime Minister.
Fair enough.
So,
nobody said
why
that
the
anybody is
hypocrisy?
anti-India or not anti-India. I don't think a politician meeting other politicians is quite the same as the Prime Minister, who's a politician, meeting the Chief Justice. The standards have to be different. It's a different. It's a bad example. Anyway, let me go back to Mr. Supariwala. I believe his audio line is through. Mr. Supariwala, please tell me.
Yeah.
You were enlightening us. Which article of the Constitution has been violated by the Prime Minister going to the CJI's house and performing Ganesh Aarti? Please.
As per my knowledge, which I have gained some time ago, also the Article 10. You can see all the lawyers are here, advocates are here.
Okay.
They can check it. Secondly, I'm just worried about the timing. I don't have any problem of the PM going to anybody's house and performing the puja. The timing of this puja was uncalled for. It could have been avoided for the sake of justice for the people of India, of the citizens of India. We are a democracy. We have every right to question
Article
our
10.
vulnerable
Is it a
PM.
violation of Article 10, Mr. Bhattacharya?
Well, I don't think it is a violation of any article. As I told you at the outset, Mr. Zaka, that Prime Minister going anywhere, I cannot question that. Prime Minister is free to go anywhere. I only made one statement that it was perhaps an error of judgment on the part of Honorable Chief Justice of India, because all kinds of insinuations are being made which have never been made in the past. And these insinuations are wrong. I don't agree with them. It is not a question of any doubt. No judgment can be affected by this. It is not a question of any puja or Hindu or Muslim or Sikh or Isai. And you must also remember one thing, Mr. Zaka, protocol wise, Prime Minister is higher than the Chief Justice of India. So the yardstick which the head of India's judiciary will have to follow in the eyes of public perception. I am only on public perception.
Okay. So the yardstick that the judge has to be held to is higher and different from what a politician should be held to. Okay. So in that he failed. Amitabh Dubey, quickly, I have to wrap up. 30 seconds, please.
Yes,
Judges should be held to a higher standard. The CJI may not have lived up to that standard.
Dhaka, does judgments are passed based on the public perceptions or by defining the doctrine of law, the principles settled and looking into the facts of the case? Where is the violation of the separation of power? When there are 4 principles, exclusively principles, functional principle, check and balance principle, mutility principle. Article 10, my dear brother Supariwala, talks about the continuance of the rights of citizenship. Is there any embargo in the Constitution that 2 heads cannot meet? Is there an embargo in Code of Ethics that 2 heads cannot be meet? And that too, Jaka, it's not an investigative journalism that somebody went and clicked the pictures and made it public. It was Honorable Prime Minister himself PTI was present there. Other legal portals were present there. In presence of Honorable
Okay.
Prime
We
Minister.
are questioning the timing.
All right, I got to leave it at that. Thank you very much to all our guests, but we'll see. Frankly, I'm going to play out a chunk of Mahesh Jethmalani, an interview that I did with him, senior Supreme Court advocate. I spoke to him some time back. He criticized this whole politicking that's been going on over the Prime Minister's visit, going to the Chief Justice's house and performing Ganesh Arati. Mahesh Jethmalani says that this shows that the opposition is simply bereft of any important issues, and this is not, according to Mahesh, a material enough issue or a material violation of any kind of ethics that the opposition should make such a big deal out of it. This is Mahesh Jethmalani. Joining me now is Mahesh Jethmalani, senior advocate and also member of parliament in the Rajya Sabha. Thank you very much, Mr. Jethmalani. So the Congress, the opposition parties are basically saying that, look, this shatters any kind of separation of powers between the executive and the judiciary, that this is some kind of political overreach. How do you respond to what the political charge is against this visit?
I respond with the utmost amusement, Zaka. I mean, the separation of powers theory is that each wing of the government, the legislature, the judiciary and the executive, have distinct spheres of power. They're extremely strictly separated. That's fine. But to say that the separation of powers theory entails social distancing is absurd. I mean, I don't know to what extent they're carrying this. I mean, can a politician not go to a judge's family function, a wedding of his son or daughter, and vice versa? I mean, this is utmost rubbish. Separation of powers doesn't mean that, I have a feeling that anything to do with Hinduism is a red rag to these critics.
I'm just going to come to that point in a second, but what they're saying is, like, look, there have been instances where when Dr. Manmohan Singh was Prime Minister or earlier Indira Gandhi was Prime Minister, yes, they've gone to social functions, but usually those are social functions either by the Supreme Court Bar Association or official functions where the CJI invites the Prime Minister of the day. Nothing like this where the Prime Minister has gone for what is a private event at the residence of the Chief Justice, and that too a puja.
I wouldn't even blink at something like this. What is wrong? I mean, we do it all the time. I get invitations whenever I'm in Maharashtra. I mean, Ganesh is especially, the Ganpati festival is especially big event in Maharashtra. I mean, one of the most revered deities there. And we get invitations, everybody gets invitations all the time, not just, dignitaries, from different people who say, welcome, just come and do an arti at our Ganesh Puja and take darshan. And we unblinkingly go in these 12 days till Visarjan. So they're really making a storm in a teacup. They're bereft of issues. And as I said, anything which remotely has to do with Hinduism is a red rag to these people.
But tell me this, so Justice Chandrachud, I think, has about a couple of months before he retires, and he probably has about a handful of judgments to pronounce before he retires. So all of those judgments, will that not be colored from the prism of whether it's favorable to the opposition or favorable to the government?
Well, if your ideology is blood red, then yes. If you're a die-hard, in the mud Marxist, then yes, you will be. I mean, you may say that, but because they don't believe in religious occasions at all. They're atheists, most of them. So anything to do with religion, as I said, is a red quote unquote rag to them. Most of these who are taking this up are of that ilk.
No, the matters on which judgment has to be pronounced in the next 2 months before the CJI retires.
Yes.
Let's say, and I'm sure there are many matters where the central government is also a party. If those are favorable, then again they'll say, look, this is the reason. There's a link between the Prime Minister and the CJI. And if it is against the central government, again they'll say the same thing.
Yeah, Zaka, I completely agree with you. I'm in vehement agreement with you that this is all, I'm sure that they have some irritation against Chief Justice Chandrachud for something which some public interest litigation, misconceived though it may be, which they brought before him and didn't get the results, right?
Okay.
So, they take it out in this manner.
Okay. All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, Mahesh Jethmalani. Good to talk to you as always. Thank you very much for joining us with your forthright views on what you described as a bit of a storm in a teacup. There is a tense situation on the ground in Mandya in Karnataka after a Ganpati procession was targeted in the town of Nagamangala. Now, as per reports, the procession was crossing a mosque. At that time, stones were pelted at the procession. The claim is that the stones were being thrown from inside the mosque premises, the Dargah premises. The Ganesh idol was also damaged in the stone pelting, and that prompted the devotees to protest outside the local police station. They wanted justice. This sparked off huge clashes in the area, with vandals torching shops and vehicles and other public property. The police invoked prohibitory orders and even resorted to lathi charge to disperse the mob. And in that, several police personnel were also injured. Over 50 suspects have been arrested in the case, and the situation, we're given to understand, is right now under control. Chief Minister Sitaram has assured action. But here's where it gets a little politically tricky. The State Home Minister, G. Parameshwara, has stoked a bit of a controversy. He has said that the stone pelting began accidentally. Those are his words. The BJP has accused the Congress party of vote bank politics for the breakdown of the law and order situation there in Mandya, even accusing the Congress of downplaying the crisis. The question remains, why were things allowed to go from bad to worse? Did the government fail to deter the violence? And more importantly, once the violence was brought under control, to try and post facto downplay it by saying that it was accidental, the stone throwing was accidental. Does that behove well? But first, the story.
ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ಪರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಮೂಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಇದನ್ನು ಬೆಳೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಬಿಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇಲ್ಲ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ನವರು.
After damaging everything, whom against you will going to take the action now? Innocent people, they will going to take the action.
मैं मांग रखती हूँ एनए भी इसमें इन्वॉल्व होना चाहिए, तब सत्य क्या है पता चलेगा.
And who's stoking the violence, and did the government fail to deter that violence? Straight face-off on Brass Tacks tonight. Mohan Mishra, spokesperson of Karnataka BJP. Lavanya Balal is spokesperson of the Congress. Lavanya, let me start off by asking you, the job of law and order is that of the state government. The job of ensuring that there is harmony when there are such religious processions that are undertaken is the job of the state government and the police. The Home Minister, no less, says that the stone pelting, which happened, and clearly the visuals are there for everybody to see, the stone pelting happened from inside the Dargah premises. For the Home Minister to say it was accidental, what does he even mean?
Good evening, Zaka. We clearly see there was a failure of intelligence department, which failed to anticipate this kind of incident would take place at this particular venue while it was passing by. And the Home Minister, I heard the Home Minister saying, yes, it was not a pre-planned event. I think he basically meant to say this was not something that was planned for a few weeks or a few days and then executed. This was the spur of the moment action by the culprits. What we appreciate is about 50 people of them have been arrested, and we want to ensure that justice prevails and all of these people are punished. There will be no
But ma'am, can I ask you one thing? What started this? Was that accidental, or was that spur of the moment? Because the pictures are not showing that. The pictures are very clearly showing there were some people inside the Dargah premises who were throwing stones and some of them even shoes at the procession that the Ganpati procession that was going outside the Dargah, outside on the road, by the way.
I'm sorry. What does that question mean? What do you mean by that? I mean, what does the question mean?
Is the Home Minister suggesting that the people who threw stones from inside accidental? That's also spur of the moment?
I don't think he ever said that, and I don't think we should go into a habit of reading between the lines. We should stick to what he said. He clearly said this was not a pre-planning. It does not, on the surface, it does not look like an event that was pre-planned.
So how did so many stones end up inside the mosque premises if it was not pre-planned?
That is a question for the police to answer, Zaka. Because the police also is supposed to answer why there was an intelligence failure. If it was a pre-planned event, the police has to tell us why was there an intelligence failure. Clearly, it is an intelligence failure.
I have covered communal riots in many parts of this country, from Gujarat to Tamil Nadu.
Good.
One second. I can tell you one thing. That no communal riot in this country is ever spontaneous or spur of the moment. All of them are pre-planned. Okay, let's be very, very clear about this. If the Home Minister is trying to downplay it or give some people a clean sheet and blame some other people, that's your politics. But let's not make fools. Let's not make fools out of the people of Mandya or the people of Karnataka who are watching this program. Let's be true to them and say and call out for what this is for what it is. And that is some people in a pre-planned, one second. Some people in a pre-planned fashion with the intent of stoking communal tensions threw stones at a Ganpati procession. Let's be very blunt about it. Let's be honest about it.
So first of all, Zaka, I would refrain from playing the judge and jury. Second, I would like to wait for the police to come back with a report as to why there is a failure. We are not protecting anybody. The Home Minister has not told anyone to protect anyone. And I would request the media to stop reading between the lines and making assumptions based on the statements.
Media reading between the lines. I didn't even read between the lines. The Home Minister literally said it was accidental. There was nothing to read between the lines. But Mohan Vishwa. Okay, let me ask the BJP
Amazing,
spokesperson.
Zaka. If you want to continue on a monologue,
it's not a monologue, ma'am.
Thank you.
It's not a monologue. No, Lavanya ji, please wait. Lavanya ji, please wait. Point is, you are the spokesperson of the ruling party in Karnataka. Police is under you, law and order is under you, Home Ministry is under you, and if
you're going on a monologue, Zaka, I'm not letting others speak.
No, I am letting you speak. But please also respect the intelligence of our viewers. Respect the intelligence of the people.
I have not disrespected them, Zaka. It is you who is reading too much into his statements.
I'm not saying you, by saying that it is accidental, spur of the moment, not pre-planned, when clearly from the pictures, anybody with common sense can make out that tons of stones went inside the mosque premises. People threw stones from inside the mosque premises. That cannot be spur of the moment or accidental. But let's leave that aside. Mohan Vishwa, the accusation against the BJP and extended Sangh Parivar elements is you guys are deliberately stoking communal tensions. In January 2024, there was a Hanuman flag that was removed from Keragudu village in Mandya, again in the same district. The national flag was removed and a Hanuman flag some people tried to install. Again, right-wing groups were behind it. Some right-wing groups claim the Jama Masjid in Srirangapatna was built on Hanuman temple. They wanted to get not to go worship inside. There was a protest in March 2022 after the district collector allocated land to Muslim burial ground. It was done at the behest of right-wing groups. The Congress is, and of course, we all know the protests that happened when the hijab controversy happened, again in Mandya. So the accusation against you and the extended Sangh Parivar is you are the people who are fomenting this communal tension. You are the ones who are stoking this communal tension. Respond, please.
See, Zaka is taking Ganpati procession in Masjid Road. Does it amount to communal tension? What does they are speaking? They speak about constitution. They speak about fundamental rights. Don't the Hindus have to take the God's procession wherever they want with the permission of the police? Come on, this is utter nonsense. See, Congress has a habit of protecting these stone pelters and also the radical elements belongs to one particular community. from past 14 to 15 months when they came into power. If you listen to DK Shivakumar, what did he say when there was a cooker blast in Mangalore? He called the terrorists as their brothers openly. That is where the first appeasement started. After that, what happened? There was a slogan of Pakistan Zindabad inside Vidhan Sauda, the guy who is very close aide of Congress Rajya Sabha MP. What did Congress say? They say nothing like that happened. But after that, what happened? Investigation revealed that there was an issue with that. Then also, the same Congress party leaders wrote a letter to Mr. DK Shivakumar to release those culprits and also stone pelters who pelted stone on police station in Hubli and Bangalore way back. See, this is the kind of appeasement politics they are doing. And the same thing today is getting continued. Mr. Home Minister, and he, by calling this incident as a small incident or accidental incident, he is promoting more and more stone pelters to do this incident again and again. So they have a history. They have a confidence on Congress that whatever they do, Congress is there to protect us. See, they have a history of this. So always they protect radical elements. And also, I just want to tell you one more thing. Okay, what the police have done yesterday night, instead of arresting those culprits, they went on to the members of the Ganpati Seva Mandali's home at the midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and they knocked their doors and they arrested the members of Ganpati Seva Mandali.
No, but Mr. Vishwa, the allegation is that who then burnt all these shops, all these pictures that we're getting of fires burning in Mandya? Who did that? Those people are also not holy angels. They should also be arrested.
No. See, let them arrest, let them file an accusation on anybody who is a culprit. Okay, so we are not for any particular religion or against a religion. What we are telling here is, if you read the FIR copy with you, okay, the police have filed A1 to A23. If you read the names, all are Hindu names from A24 to A50. All are other religions' names. What is happening here? Does that mean that they are not thrown the stones? Does it mean that they are not buried the shops and all which belong to those poor? This is how the police department is also working under the instruction of Congress government.
Okay, Lavanya Ballal, please respond. The charge against you from the BJP spokesperson is first 23 accused names are Hindu names. From 23 to 50, it's people from other religions. Therefore, you have a bias against Hindu people who are carrying out atrocities. You're on mute. You have to unmute, please.
Sorry. If 1 to 23 are Hindus and it is 27 people who are Muslims, I'm sure clearly there is no bias by the police. You can see the number of people are from another community or minorities or whoever they are. Clearly, the police have done their work of finding out who these stone pelters are, who these people who have who these pyromaniacs are. So if BJP's argument today is no matter what the provocation, the people who have burnt the shops shouldn't be arrested. Okay, we understand. Okay, they are also the people earlier too had threatened to burn down Karnataka if action is taken against BJP party workers. So clearly it looks like BJP is intent on creating communal disharmony to bring infamy to the state of Karnataka. At this point of time, there is a bipolar election coming up in Karnataka, and it looks like the BJP is going by its book to create unrest in this region.
No, but
right?
ma'am, one thing. Let's be clear about two separate facts. When the BJP government is there and this happened, you are well within your right to accuse them of fomenting communal tensions. The government now is with you. It's your responsibility to have stopped this. It's your responsibility to have ensured that people don't carry tons of rocks into a dargah and then target a procession, a Ganpati procession.
Absolutely. I do not disagree with you at all. I say there is an intelligence failure, Zaka. And I'm saying the police have to be held responsible for this. They shouldn't have allowed for the procession that was going on to be attacked by anybody. If the police were not aware of the situation, then clearly the SP of Mandya is answerable.
So
he must tell the
Mohan Vishwa, the police are responsible. The Home Minister can say what he wants to say. The police are responsible. But more importantly, she's also said that there are 27 accused who are Muslim, 23 who are Hindu. Both the culprits they've arrested. So police has done a good job.
See, Zaka, before teaching...
They did their job. They've arrested irrespective of which community these accused persons belong to. Okay.
Okay, let me teach a bit of law to my Congress spokesperson. She has to understand it's not the number of people who understood. No, please, you don't know. You don't know.
Have you know? Stop coming here to teach people. Please defend your party. Don't come to teach people.
Okay.
The difference between A1 and
On
A24.
merit. On merit. Yeah.
What's the difference between A1 and A24? Do you think the numbers matter? A1 is the main accused. A2 is the second main accused. Then the number goes on like that. If you don't know the law, please read, come and sit and speak here. Okay? The second point, she said the police wouldn't have given the permission in that road. See, this is what Congress calls themselves as seculars.
I didn't say that.
One second, ma'am. One second. There's crosstalk happening. There's crosstalk happening. Let him finish, please.
I'm sorry,
She said,
Saka.
she said police shouldn't.
Otherwise, viewers can't hear either of you. One at a time. One at a time. I'll come to you, Lavanya ji. I'll come to you. I will come to you. Let him finish. No. Let him finish. Let him finish, ma'am.
He cannot say incorrect things.
No. You correct him when I come to you. Please, by all means, when it is your turn to speak. When it is your turn to speak, please correct him by all means. I will not stop you. But there is no point you talking over him or him talking over you. Please.
Because she don't have any point. That's why she's crossed up.
Okay. Mohan Vishwa, yeah. Don't misconstrue Lavanya Ballal's statement. Yes.
Not misconstrued. You can replay whatever she said. Okay, she said police shouldn't have allowed the procession to take place in that particular place. See, is this the constitutional fundamental right Congress talks every day? Whenever there is a Hindu temple procession, whenever there is a Hindu festival, let it be Deepavali or Yugadi or Hanuma Jayanti or Rama Jayanti or even Ganpati procession for that matter, Congress takes this stand and they call it as a communal.
All right, I have to wrap up in 30 seconds. Lavanya Ballal, final chance to rebut what Mohan Vishwa said. Yes.
Mohan Vishwa, you need to get your ears checked. I never said the Hindus shouldn't have been given a permission. All I said was the police should have been more careful and should have protected the procession. I never said the procession should not have been taken.
Okay.
You need to stop pushing your agenda.
I got to wrap up. Thank you very much. I got to wrap up. Completely out of time. Thank you very much to Lavanya Ballal and to Mohan Vishwa. We really hope Karnataka is able to, go beyond these communal tensions because it's a state which hasn't had a history of communal tensions in the way that you would associate, some other states. So we're really, and particularly this part of Karnataka, it's only started in the last few years or so, and we really hope that this is something that they can overcome quickly, rather than in a belated kind of way. I'm going to take a break, but when we come back, it's a tribute to a veteran left leader, CPIM leader Sitaram Yechury, who passed away today at the All India Institute of Medical Science. He was battling a prolonged illness. He was 72 years old. A look back at his political career, which spanned almost 50 years after a quick break.
Has always had a good equation with the Congress party, even at a time when the Congress and the left fell out, especially over the Indo-US nuclear deal. In 2004, when the UPA's common minimum program was being drafted, it was proclaimed as one which was very progressive, out-of-the-box ideas, and which was talking about a new age India. Sitaram Yechury was one of the architects of the common minimum program with many of the top-notch Congress leaders, including that of Jairam Ramesh. But in recent times, Sitaram Yechury was always seen and called a mentor of Rahul Gandhi. In fact, it is believed that Sitaram Yechury was the one who influenced Rahul Gandhi along with Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary to have a tie-up of the left and the Congress party in West Bengal and beyond. Despite the fact that Mamata Banerjee was very upset, Sitaram Yechury ended up having a very good equation with her. The thing about Sitaram Yechury was that he had very good equations with political parties and leaders cutting across party lines. He was seen as extremely accessible, affable, and someone with his good nature was able to connect with party leaders across the party lines, which certainly comes in handy when the backroom negotiations are going on inside the parliament. But to talk about present times, when the India bloc was formed, Sitaram Yechury played a very important role. In fact, it is believed that one of the few people who actually coined the name India bloc, who coined the idea that you have to hold the constitution in your hand and talk about protecting the constitution, it was not just Mamata Banerjee or Rahul Gandhi, it was Sitaram Yechury too who played an important role. While Mamata Banerjee had a problem in negotiating or talking or communicating with Prakash Karat, who was considered to be very uptight by many. In Sitaram Yechury, the situation was very different. He was considered to be very progressive, not as rigid in his point of view as very often the left are, not very averse to the idea of India having a kind of economic ties as far as America is concerned. And thereby stands the legacy of Sitaram Yechury. At a time when many people talk about left withering away, of left not being in sync with the modern times, Sitaram Yechury was that person who was able to bridge that gap. This could be seen as a huge loss, not just to the left, but it is also a huge loss as far as the India bloc and for Rahul Gandhi personally, and for the Congress party to have that one person who could be a mentor for them, who could help them out in bad times. In that sense, one can understand why almost every leader cutting across party lines are mourning the loss of Sitaram Yechury, who was also known for the bright and wide smile he would greet even his worst detractors and opponents with. With the death of Sitaram Yechury at the age of 72 after a prolonged illness, a part of the left movement as well as a deep legacy also goes away. Now, just to give a quick recap of what Sitaram Yechury was all about, his thoughts, well, he was always seen as a more moderate, progressive face of the CPIM. A student of Jawaharlal Nehru University, and his days during JNU were used to fight back during the emergency times.
The most recognizable public face of left parties in India and stalwart leader and comrade to all, CPM General Secretary and Rajya Sabha MP Sitaram Yechury was born in Andhra Pradesh on August 12, 1952 in what was then Madras to an engineer father and a government officer mother. He belonged to coastal Andhra Pradesh. The 1969 Telangana agitation brought Sitaram Yechury to New Delhi, where he excelled in academics. Yechury graduated with a BA Honours in Economics from St. Stephen's College, Delhi University in 1973, followed by an MA in Economics from Jawaharlal Nehru University in 1975, both with first-class honours. Yechury first rose to prominence as the student leader at JNU during the emergency period. He was arrested and quickly between 1977 and 1978, Yechury was elected president of the JNU Students' Union thrice. During his JNU days, he was known for his fiery speeches. It was in JNU that Yechury cut his teeth in politics, first in SFI and then the CPM. He was the first president of Students' Federation of India or SFI who was not from West Bengal or Kerala. There was no stopping Yechury in left politics. Not surprisingly, his rise in the CPM was quick. He was inducted into CPM General Central Committee in 1985 and became part of the all-important CPM Politburo in 1992. He was responsible for the left party's international relations. Yechury was a protege of left bigwigs like Sundaraya and HKS Surjit. He was also very close to party ideologue Makini Basubunaya. He became his party's top boss when he took over from Prakash Karat as CPM General Secretary in 2015. Yechury played a prominent role during the Manmohan Singh-led United Front government and UPA regime from 2004 to 2009. He was first elected to the Rajya Sabha in 2005 and re-elected in 2011, where he played a crucial role in rallying the opposition in the upper house. Yechury worked closely with leaders like P. Chidambaram to draft the Common Minimum Program for the United Front government in 1996 and was instrumental in forming the UPA 1 government in 2004. He was well versed in world history and Hindu mythology. Apart from English, Yechury spoke many Indian languages with fluency like Bangla, Hindi, Telugu, Tamil and Malayalam. As a result, he had no dearth of comrades across the political spectrum and he was known for his networking skills. He first entered parliament in 2005 when he was elected to the Rajya Sabha. He quickly became the voice of the opposition, known for challenging the government on key issues. his ability to build coalitions, especially during the United Front and UPA-1 governments, made him a critical player in Indian politics. A scholarly leader, Yechury, who became a voice for the voiceless, his rich legacy will live on for long in India's political history, and staying true to his communist values, Yechury's family has donated his body to Delhi's All India Institute of Medical Sciences for research and teaching purposes. Yechury will always be remembered for his unwavering commitment to the causes of secularism, socialism and democracy in India.
Against Indira Gandhi's emergency which was proclaimed, and he was also arrested. But he had a mindset and a point of view which was international, many would say, and also very progressive in nature. It was then that he was impressed by meeting Prakash Karat and he joined the CPIM officially. He was of course a member of parliament for the Rajya Sabha till 2017, and apart from that he was also the general secretary or the part of the CPIM Politburo. Of course he never got to get that occasion to rise completely to the top, but he was also one of the most influential leaders as far as the opposition space is concerned. Sitaram Yechury has always had a good equation with the Congress party, even at a time when the Congress and the left fell out, especially over the Indo-US nuclear deal. In 2004, when the UPA's common minimum program was being drafted, it was proclaimed as one which was very progressive, out-of-the-box ideas, and which was talking about a new age India. Sitaram Yechury was one of the architects of the common minimum program with many of the top-notch Congress leaders, including that of Jairam Ramesh. But in recent times, Sitaram Yechury was always seen and called a mentor of Rahul Gandhi. In fact, it is believed that Sitaram Yechury was the one who influenced Rahul Gandhi along with Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary to have a tie-up